Calling all authors, the Your Book, Your Voice podcast with host Robert A. Lane features everything you need to know about narrating your audiobook, but it doesn't stop there. We have special guests lined up from all aspects of the book publishing industry, and we also dive deep into what it takes to be mentally prepared for success as an author and in life. So please welcome your host, Robert A. Lane.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. Appreciate you hanging out. Glad you're here. If this is the first time that you're tuning in, welcome. I am an audiobook coach and producer, and I specialize in focusing on nonfiction authors mainly. Once in a while, a fiction author comes my way that works for the program that I teach as an audiobook coach. But I really specialize in helping you, as the author, narrate your own audiobook in your own voice, because no one on this planet can tell your story better than you. You are the one person who is the most qualified person to narrate your audiobook. Not another narrator, even though there's great narrators out there, and there are. But again, it's their interpretation. It's not your interpretation. And the way you tell your story, especially if it's a memoir, or maybe you're a coach or an entrepreneur or an educator or a teacher or a poet, maybe you're even a storybook children's book writer. That's the word I was looking for. It should be in your voice, because no one can tell that story better than you. No one can teach that coaching program better than you. So keep that in mind, as it is so important, especially for nonfiction authors, to narrate their own audiobook in your own voice. We are streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network, by the way. And I have a really great show planned for you that's going to talk about audiobook narration tips and tricks, things that you can do to present yourself in a better way, both from a practical standpoint and an emotional and an energetic standpoint on doing a great audiobook narration. Recently, I did a podcast about audiobook awesomeness, and I focused more on the mindset aspect. You should check out that episode. It's called Steps to Audiobook Awesomeness. That's what it was. Check it out, because if you want to really deep dive into the mental aspects about how to really appreciate the voice that you have, how to not listen to that inner dialogue telling you you can't, things to boost your confidence. We talked a lot about that aspect of what it takes to do a great audiobook narration, and that is a very important aspect. But today, we're going to focus on more of the practical things. How to create an audiobook. What are the components and the pieces that it takes to put together a great audiobook? So we're going to dive into that today. Now, before we do, a couple of things that I want to share with you. First of all, I have an audiobook narration reference guide. It's a really cool little guide. It's a free PDF download that I offer to you. Grab yourself a copy of this. There are tools and techniques. A lot of the things that I'm going to be talking with you today are going to be in this download. So it's a great reference material, great piece of reference material for you to hang on to when you're narrating your audiobook, because it will help you do a better delivery. So go ahead and grab yourself a copy of that. If you are listening to the replay, we're live now, but if you're listening to the replay and you're only on the audio-only version of the podcast, that link is bit.ly/narration reference guide, bit.ly/narration reference guide. Grab yourself a copy of that. It's also on the website at robertlanecoaching.com. So make sure you grab that. It's my free gift to you. I'm going to dive into the audiobook coaching program that I teach in a little later on in the podcast. But for now, I just want to get into our topic. Audiobook narration tips and tricks. What are the things that you can do to do a great audiobook narration? Okay, again, we're going to be focusing more on the practical aspects of what it takes. And my first tip, you're going to love this one. The first tip is hire an audiobook coach or producer. I'd love to work with you. No, I mean, seriously, the great thing about having somebody there as your guide, as your coach, as your mentor, as your support system, as your accountability partner, as your safety net, All those things that come into play when you have a coach really does help make the process better. For example, when I wrote my book, here it is, Lights to Action You, and I wrote this book I published it back in October of 2022. I didn't just say, hey, I'm going to write a book and then just start writing and publish it. I hired a book coach because I knew that there was someone out there who is an expert at what they do that can totally help me be able to write a better book. And I'm glad I did it. It was worth the investment. It was one of the best things that I've ever done, and which led to, of course, turning the book into an audiobook as well. The point is, having somebody there, like asking for help, is not a bad thing. I know we want to do things on our own, and I get it. I'm all for doing things and just grabbing the bull by the horns and just getting out there and handling it. And my mode of thinking used to be, if you don't do it yourself, it's just not going to be done right. Or maybe it's said the other way around. If you want it done it right, you got to do it yourself. Well, that's true to a certain extent, but honestly, when you have a support system, when you have a team of people to help you out, it's only going to make your end product better. And that's what businesses do. And you, as an author, if you've written a book, or you're in the process of writing a book and you're going to publish that book, or you have books that are out there that are already published, that's your business. Remember, you are an author brand. Everything that encompasses who you are is your author brand. So you are a business, you are an entrepreneur. And businesses get help from other businesses. They hire people to help them out. And that is really my best tip for you. My number one tip is, if you're going to record your audiobook, get help. You can do it yourself, but you're going to run into roadblocks. And it's great to have somebody who's an expert who can guide you through the process so that you're not going to trip up on any part of that process. Setting up your publication account in ACX, for example, to be published on Audible, Amazon, and Apple. That alone can be daunting and overwhelming. And if you don't know what you're doing and you're not sure how to do it, I've seen authors not do their audiobook and just stop and go, oh, this is too confusing, I don't want to do it. That's an excuse that you should not use, because you are a business. This is your author brand. You need to be out there in the audiobook world, because again, so many people go to audiobooks first before they go to ebooks, paperbacks, and hardcovers. People love their audiobooks, and the audiobook world has been growing and expanding over the last several years. It's just a market you have to be in. So don't ignore that market. As an author, you need to do it. That's such a crucial part of your marketing strategy. Got to have an audiobook. All right. So that's my one tip. All right. So let's talk about the process itself. So I want to go over just the recording process of what it takes to create an audiobook. Now, there are a couple of routes that you can go. One is you can try to research recording studios, and if you're going to do that, you need to find a professional place that knows what they're doing, that's dealt with audiobooks, not just any recording studio, or not a friend down the street who says, hey, I got a studio, why don't you record here? Because there are other factors that come into play, like specifications, making sure your audio files when you're recording meet the exact specs for publication. I've seen this many times and I've had authors who have done audiobooks, or at least recorded them, yet they were rejected off of Audible, Amazon, Apple, and any of the other distribution platforms that they wanted to put it in. It got rejected because they didn't meet the proper specifications. You don't want that to happen. That is a bad thing. All the hours and time that you spent recording, you don't want to upload your audiobook and then it gets rejected. Not a good scene. And so, luckily, I've been able to fix audiobooks so that they do meet the exact specs and get them published. But you want it done right the first time. So if you're going to try to find a studio and do it somewhere else, then you got to do the research and make sure that you're getting into a place that they know what they're doing and that you feel comfortable in. Now, in my audiobook coaching program, I give you the equipment that's part of the program. I provide you with microphone, headphones, and all the things that you need to record your audiobook, because I feel that if you're able to set up your own recording space in your own home, in your own home office, I have authors who've set up their uh, recording studio in their walk-in closets because it absorbs sound. It's really great, and they feel comfortable there. So if that works for you, that's great. And that's part of it. And the word comfortable is a huge part of it, because you want to feel comfortable in your own space. That's why I like being able to help authors set up their own recording space, because not only is it familiar and you're comfortable, but it allows you to set up your recording time on your schedule, not a recording studio schedule. And it would suck when you go into a studio and you're like, I'm going to knock out these 2 chapters. I have 4 hours booked. I'm going to get this done. And what if it's an off day? What if your voice isn't sounding the way you want it to? What if you're making a lot of mistakes and you're not getting it done? And now you're starting to feel the pressure of time. I'm running out of time. The studio they're going to kick me out in 20 minutes and I'm not even done. I'm not even halfway done. You don't want to have that type of pressure. That's why it's really great to have your own recording space. When you set it up in your own home or office, you're in control. And again, it's on your schedule. Now, like I said, the number one tip I can give you is having somebody there, a professional, a coach, to help you through the process, because that coach is going to be your accountability partner. You can set up your own recording space, but you got to be accountable, right? You have to make sure that you give yourself a specific time every day that you're going to go in and record, and stick to that schedule. You got to make that agreement with yourself. Okay. You got to do it, because no one's going to be uh, doing it for you. And that's why it's so great to have a coach to help you out, because they're going to be your accountability partner. It doesn't take you 6 months or 6 years to record your audiobook. That's procrastination. We don't want that. We want you to get it done. And we, of course, want it to sound great, but you can get it done within 6 weeks. You really can, if you're focused. All right. So, but the thing is, having your own space allows you to have freedom to record on your schedule. And if you are having a bad day, step away, take a break, then go back to it. You don't have that pressure of having to go to a studio and being booted out when you don't even have everything done that you wanted to accomplish for that day. It's an uncomfortable situation. You don't want to put yourself in that. So that's why in my program, of course, I again supply you with the equipment you need so that you can set up your own space. Now, if you're not familiar with the recording process, the way it works is your book is recorded in sections. So, for example, my book has 14 chapters. Each chapter is a separate audio file, and all the other sections of your book are separate audio files. So, for example, the front matter of your book, you got your opening credits, you may have an introduction, a prologue, a foreword, dedication. All those parts of your book are going to be all separate audio files. And then the back matter of your book, right? You have your acknowledgments, maybe you have an epilogue, you have what to do next, how to contact me. If you're a coach, maybe you have something about your coaching program. All that stuff, those are all going to be separate audio files. Closing credits, of course, is another separate audio file. So everything is done in pieces and in sections, but it makes the process so much easier to do because you're doing it in sections. Now, again, having a coach to guide you through the process helps a lot, because you want to be consistent. You want to be consistent with your energy and your levels, your microphone levels, and with your emotion from opening credits to closing credits. You got to be consistent, because you have to keep in mind that it's the end user, right? The listener. What's best for the listener? What's going to be the best experience for that listener? Consistency is key. You want to keep them compelled and engaged throughout the entire time that they're listening to your audiobook. We're going to dive more into this and about the practical aspects of what it takes to do a great audiobook, as this is the audiobook narration tips and tricks episode. So we'll be diving more into that. This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I'm Robert A. Lane. By the way, if you can go to robertlanecoaching.com to check out what I do as an audiobook coach and producer, get more information there as well. But don't go away, because we have more great tips and tricks to share with you today here as we stream live on the Bold Brave TV network.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery, or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back. This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I'm Robert A. Lane. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We are streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network, and our topic for today is audiobook narration tips and tricks. If you have any questions, by the way, since we are streaming live, by all means, feel free to give us a call. The phone number is up on the screen there, or you can comment as well. And if you have any questions, be happy to answer any questions that you have about the audiobook world, about the audiobook process, anything like that. Happy to answer those questions for you. Again, I do want to remind you that I have a freebie that I want to give to you. It's a audiobook narration reference guide. A lot of the things that I do talk about today in our episode are going to be in this guide about tools and techniques to help you do a great audiobook narration. So by all means, grab yourself a copy of that. It's bit.ly/narration reference guide. That's the link, bit.ly/narration reference guide. Grab yourself a copy and hang on to that. It's good reference material. And again, you can always check that out on the website at robertlanecoaching.com. All right, so before we took the break, I was talking about how the processes of recording your audiobook and everything is done in pieces and in sections. And it does make it easier for you to record because you don't feel that overwhelm of having to sit there and record your entire book in one sitting, because that's not the way to do it. Your energy is going to drop, your voice is going to change, you're going to get fatigued. You definitely don't want to do that. So my tip is don't sit and try to record your entire audiobook in one sitting. It doesn't work out that way. My other tip that I want to share with you is that it really does help when you record your audiobook in linear fashion. Just go in order. Start from the top and work your way all the way down from opening credits to closing credits. It does make it easier for you. That's the way you've written the book. It helps with your flow. It'll help with your delivery. And again, when you are recording, give yourself some time to practice that section of the book that you're going to record. Just go over it. Refamiliarize yourself with your book. I mean, I know you know what your book is about, but when you get to that certain section of the book that you're going to work on, read it out loud, hear how it sounds, maybe record a little sample and play it back so that you can listen to it and see how your energy is. If it sounds monotone or reedy, then you got to get more focused into your zone. Bring your personality into it, because that's a crucial part of the puzzle when it comes to recording your audiobook and doing a great narration, and those intangibles, which I'm going to dive into in just a bit. Matter of fact, let's talk about your core reason and your core purpose, because that is a factor that does come into play that's really important. You need to always be tapped into the core reason of why you wrote your book in the first place. If it's a memoir, why are you telling the story? Why is it so important for you to share this story for the world to read? And if you're a coach, obviously you have a coaching program. Always be tapped into that core reason of why you teach what you teach. Always be tapped into that, because that is what's going to bring your unique style, your unique energy through in your narration delivery. Your voice is already in your written word. It really is. Your style, your personality, it's all there. It's in your written word. You're just bringing it to life in your own voice. And no one else can do that better than you. Remember that. And I mention this probably on every podcast, and that's to love your voice. Love your voice. Appreciate that wonderful sound that comes out of your body, because that's part of your author brand. And it is a crucial part of your author brand. That's who you are. Your author brand encompasses everything about you, about who you are. And that's what makes you unique. And because of that, that's what allows you to stand out in the crowd. So if you're writing a book, and let's say you're a relationship coach, well, there's a lot of relationship coaches out there. Well, what makes you stand out? It's your unique teaching style. It's your unique personality. That's what allows people to stand out. And that's what allows you to stand out. And that's why people come to you to work with you. They have choices, right? We all have choices of who we want to work with. If we want to hire a coach, if I was looking for a career coach, I have a choice of career coaches. Well, who's going to resonate with me? It's their personality. It's their uniqueness. It's that one coach that resonates with me. And that's how you need to look at it, because that's how you bring your uniqueness, and people will resonate with you. So tapping into your core reason of why you wrote your book is crucial, because you're bringing out your uniqueness. And that is a key factor. The other thing, which is a great tool for you, a tip or trick, however you want to say it, is be very specific about who you are telling your story to, who you are teaching your coaching program to. Whatever your book is about, who are you telling the story to? And be very, very specific. Not that it's just a genre. So, people who have gone through divorce, right? A relationship coach, for example. People who've gone through divorce, so that's my target audience. Or if you're a weight loss coach, people or nutritionists, people who want to change their diet, people who want to, lose 100 pounds, people who want this or that. That's not specific enough. You need to really be very specific. And what I have the authors who go through the program I teach, I have them focus on one person. What is the one person that you're telling your story to? And make it a real person if you can. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's your significant other, whoever that really resonates with you. Think of it like this: you're hanging out at your favorite coffee shop or restaurant, and you've got this great story to tell, and you're with your best friend, and you're telling your story to your best friend. That's who you need to keep in mind. That is how specific you need to be. Think of that person. Get a picture of that person, tape it on your computer, look at them so that you are actually having a conversation. Because what that does is that it brings out an energy, it brings out an emotion, it brings out being conversational. And most importantly, it brings out your authenticity. because you're excited to tell this story, to share this story with your best friend. And your best friend ultimately is that listener who buys your audiobook, because you want them to feel like you're speaking directly to them, that there's an intimate connection between that listener and your audiobook. That's what keeps them on the edge of their seat. That's what keeps them engaged and compelled to want to listen to the story that you have to tell. Very important. Be very specific. Have somebody very specific in mind. It's like, I've used this analogy before on other podcasts, and that is, think of it like a singer who's performing. You're going to a concert, you're seeing your favorite singer, and that singer singing your favorite song, and you're like, they're singing it to me. That's my song. That's the feeling that you want the listener to have when they're listening to your audiobook. When that singer is singing, I guarantee you that they have that specific person in mind when they're telling that romantic story. Maybe it's a love song. They have somebody in mind. And that's what makes it so compelling. And that's what makes it so emotional. And that's what draws you in. That's the same thing that you want to do. You want to draw in your listener and have them compelled about the story. And it happens all the time when I'm working with authors and I'm editing their audiobook and I hear a chapter and I get pulled into their story every time because they do such a great job of narration. And it's just a wonderful thing where I'm excited to work on the next chapter. I'm telling them, hey, send me your next chapter. Did you record it yet? Come on, I want to hear it. I want to hear you tell the story, because it's such a great experience. And that's the experience that you want to give your listener. So have somebody very specific in mind when you're talking, when you're narrating, because you're telling that story. And again, that's what brings up that authenticity. You need to be your true authentic self. You don't want to try to sound like somebody else. You don't want to try to create a persona or a personality that's not you, because that is a misrepresentation of you. That is a misrepresentation of your author brand. You are a brand. Remember, you are a brand. You have a book that's out there. You've published this great nonfiction book. You are a brand. You are an entrepreneur. So embrace that fact. Okay. Your product being your ebook, your paperback, your hardcover, your audiobook, those are your products. You're the brand, right? You want to draw your listener in to love your brand, and your voice is a huge part of that brand. Now, one thing that I want to dive into now are some of the practical aspects of what it takes to do a great audiobook narration. And there are some things that you can do with your audiobook that maybe you haven't realized. But let's first start with the basics, okay? If you want to record your own audiobook, that's great. If you want to set up your own recording space, that's awesome. That's what I have my clients do. I'm a big advocate of that. Make sure you get really good equipment. It is worth the investment, okay? Don't just settle for some cheapy $50, $100 mic off of Amazon. Get some great equipment. The equipment that I send to my clients, the authors that work with me in my audiobook coaching program, I send them great gear. They're getting $400 worth of equipment, and that's part of the program, because I don't believe in cutting corners, and you shouldn't either. Because remember, you are an author brand. This is your product. You want to put your best out there always. That's what businesses do. Good businesses want to put out the best product that they possibly can. And your audiobook is no different. The time and effort that you spent in writing your book, I know you put your heart and soul into creating this great book that you've written and that you've published, or maybe you're about to publish, or even books that you've written and maybe you've published them several years ago. You still put your heart and soul into those books. You need to, again, put your heart and soul into your audiobook as well. Don't cut corners, all right? Don't cut corners. And I know I mentioned earlier about narrators, and yeah, there are people who have great voices. That's true. But remember, this is your story. They're going to interpret it their way, not your way. There are subtleties and nuances of how you speak, of how you present what you're talking about in your story, in your book, in your memoir, in your coaching program, whatever your book is about, you're telling it the way that you want it to be heard, the way that you want it to be told. You've lived it, you've experienced it. No one else has that experience except you. That's why you need to narrate your own audiobook. And another narrator, as great as they'll sound, technically they'll sound great, but from an emotional standpoint, it's not going to be the same. And again, when it comes to cutting corners, don't go the AI route, because that is a misrepresentation of you. It's not even you. It's a fabricated voice. It's not even your voice. There's no soul behind it. There is a human factor that is missing. It can sound, again, you could be technical, but that's not going to be good enough, right? Your personality, your author brand, remember, that's everything that encompasses who you are. You want to bring that forth. You want to preserve the integrity of your author brand. AI does not do that. AI is soulless. There's no emotion. There's no you, true you, authentic you. That's what needs to be in there. So don't cut corners, all right? Don't cut corners. Your book is too important. Your author brand is too important to do that. So treat it well, okay? Preserve the integrity of your author brand. All right, so again, equipment, don't skimp. Get good equipment, all right? And again, when you're setting up your space, make sure it's a comfortable space. Whether you do have a home office or a bedroom or a closet or somewhere that is comfortable for you, all right? It's comfortable and it's quiet. And it's just a space that you feel relaxed in and that you know you can do your best narration job, all right? Make sure your space is comfortable, all right? Now, more things that I want to dive into. We do have to take another quick break, but we're going to talk about other aspects, more practical aspects of how to do a great audiobook narration, as I will be sharing you more tips and tricks. This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I'm Robert A. Lane. RobertLaneCoaching.com is my website. If you want to check out what I do as an audiobook coach and producer, it's all up there. We are streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. Don't go away, my friends. More tricks and tips coming your way.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality? But it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating. Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. You know, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I'm Robert A. Lane. I'm an audiobook coach and producer, and of course, we talk about audiobooks and how to do a great one. This episode is about tips and tricks, and we're going to just dive right back in as there's several things that I want to share with you, and I want to try to get them all in before we end our podcast for today. Let's talk about, and we talked about equipment, but mic placement. Mic placement is really important because you need to be consistent and you need to make sure that your levels are consistent. But you also have to be careful about how you place your microphone because you don't want to be popping that mic. And when you pop that mic, it's usually hard consonants, which we call them plosives, like P, B, K. That can pop your mic. So, for example, if we'll use this microphone as an example, when you're talking in your microphone, you want to be fairly close to the mic, but my tip is don't be talking directly into the microphone because when you say P or B or K and you are forcing those consonants into the microphone, you're going to distort that the microphone diaphragm is going to be hit with such force of air, it's going to cause a pop, it's going to cause distortion, and you don't want to do that. So what I suggest for authors to do is just maybe angle it to the side a little bit where you can talk across it as opposed to directly into it. And that'll help eliminate some of those plosives from, again, pushing that diaphragm of the microphone so hard that you get a distortion and you get that popping sound. And you don't want that. It doesn't sound good. All right. Let's also now focus on posture. Posture is key because you want to be able to sit up straight or stand depending on what you feel more comfortable doing. Let's see what I do. When I recorded my audiobook, I had a little tray that I set up and put the microphone there, and I had my iPad set up so that I can read and flip through the pages. Again, big tip, do not use a paperback or a hardcover when you are narrating your audiobook. You need to use the digital version of it because you just want to be able to swipe with zero sound of turning pages. You don't want these sounds of a book being in your audiobook. That's not a good sound. It's not going to work. It needs to be nice and clean. So, big tip, use the digital version. Use your ebook. Use a manuscript that's on your Word doc or something, but don't use the physical copy because that noise will come through and you don't want that sound. All right. So again, posture is important. You want to make sure that you are sitting up straight, that you're standing up straight, that your feet are planted flat on the ground, shoulder width, because it does help with as you draw in air to do your delivery, just like with a professional singer. You don't see them slouching over and crunching their midsection because then it's harder to get a good breath of air in and then to be able to deliver it strongly. So make sure your posture is good and that your feet are flat, shouldered width, basically shoulder width, flat on the ground. It just makes it for a better way to make a great delivery. You want to sound great, and the whole body needs to work together. The other thing is hydration. Hydration, having your mouth hydrated. Mouth noise can kill an audiobook. When there's a lot of mouth noise, it becomes very distracting. And you don't want the listener going, well, the book's okay, but man, they're just like making a lot of noise with their mouth. And it is very distracting. And you don't want that. You don't want your listener to be hearing all these anomalous sounds. So keep yourself hydrated and warm your voice up. It's like with anything. Singers do it. Athletes warm up before they go out on the field. Same thing with narrating, right? You're narrating your audiobook. Warm yourself up. Have a warm cup of tea or something just to warm your throat up. And loosen. There's vocal exercises that people do to loosen their lips and their jaw. Just some exercises that'll just make your body and your mouth more relaxed, so that when you're delivering, you don't feel tight. You don't feel that tightness in your jaw. And when you're relaxed, the more relaxed you are, the more your words are going to flow out, and that actually helps with sounding more conversational. So get your body warmed up. Don't just go in there and hit record and think you're ready to go. And of course, from the mindset aspect of it too, make sure you're in the right frame of mind. You can't be worrying about other things and have other things going on in your head when you're supposed to be narrating your audiobook. Be focused. Stay focused. Get into your zone, because once you're in there, man, the narrations are great. You will sound fantastic. You really will. The other tip I have is, of course, practice. Decide, okay, I'm going to work on chapter 3 today. Great. Refamiliarize yourself with your book. I know you know your book. You wrote it. Yes, you are familiar. I know my chapter 3. Of course you do. But read it. Read it out loud and practice it. Go through it. And then go back and do it again, but maybe record it just as a sample first. Maybe just take the first couple sentences and record it, and then play it back and listen to it. How is your energy? How are your mic levels? Is your mic placement good? Are you getting those plosives? Are you popping your mic? Are you moving, closer to the mic and then away from the mic, and the levels are inconsistent? Energy, again, is it there? That's one of the very important things that make a great audiobook, is the intangibles. That includes your energy and your emotion. Those things you can't physically touch, but boy, do you emotionally feel. You can feel it. That's so important, and that's when you're in your zone. So from a mindset standpoint, get into your zone. Get focused. Be in the present moment. Nothing about the past, nothing about the future matters. Present moment. I'm recording my audiobook. I'm going to work on chapter 3. That's all I'm doing. I've read it. I've practiced it. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up about it. I am tapped into my core reason of why I wrote my book in the first place. And I'm going to bring it. I'm bringing it 100%, that energy to the table. I'm going to bring my energy. I'm going to bring my emotion. I'm going to tell my story. And I'm going to do it in my own authentic, unique way, because that's who I am. I am unique. And that's what allows me to stand out. That's the mental focus that you need to be in. Be there. Then you're ready to hit the record button. Okay? Be there mentally. And there's one thing that I want to share with you that a lot of authors don't realize, that you have this option to do when you're recording your audiobook. Remember, the goal is to have a great experience for the listener. And when you read your book, it makes sense as you're reading through your book. Totally makes sense. But for an audiobook, you do have the option to be able to alter your book to make it better for the listener. So, for example, let's see. Let me just pull up a chapter. I guess it really doesn't matter. Okay, so I'll go to my chapter 3 in my book. With each chapter, I open up each chapter with a movie quote. So if I read this verbatim, then to me, it would sound a bit stilted. It doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound, it wouldn't make it a good experience for the listener. So if I read it verbatim and I said, chapter 3, blinders are for horses, Roy Batty, all those moments will be lost in time, like tears and rain, Blade Runner. Reedy, no emotion, doesn't sound that great. So for the listener, it's going to be like, nah, okay, whatever. You don't want that. But you do have the option to be able to make it more enjoyable for your listener. So you can do something like this. Chapter 3, blinders are for horses. The quote that opens this chapter is from the movie Blade Runner. Roy Batty, all those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain. Put emotion into it. Put your unique personality and style into it. You have the option to make it more enjoyable for the listener, because again, You want them to be on the edge of their seat. You want them to be compelled. You want them to be engaged with everything that you have to say about your book, because your content is king. Content is king. What you have to say, the story that you have to tell is so important. Okay? Keep that in mind. And that also goes back to when I hear people saying, I don't like my voice. I don't have what it takes, that people aren't going to want to hear me. Yes, they do. Because ultimately, it is what you have to say. It is the content that is the most important aspect of your book. That is the most important aspect of your audiobook. What you have to say, it's the content. It's not, people aren't just focused on how you sound. So love your voice and embrace your voice. People can listen to Bob Dylan, then they can listen to you narrate your own audiobook. There you go. All right, this is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. We got to take one more break. We will be back. I'm going to summarize some things that we've talked about. I want to tell you more about the audiobook coaching program that I teach, and we'll get things wrapped up here. So don't go away. We're streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. Boy, this is exciting. Glad you're here. Don't go away.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
Welcome back. This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I'm your host, Robert A. Lane. Glad you're here. Audiobook narration tips and tricks has been our topic for today. Again, if there's something that you would like to know or learn about in regards to the audiobook world, or maybe there's something about just the book industry that you would like to find out more about, then let me know. You can always reach out to me. Again, you can always join us for the live as we do this live by calling in or leaving a comment as well. But you could also reach out to me at robertlanecoaching.com. If there's something that you'd like me to cover topic-wise, be glad to do it, because really I do this for you. As the author, I want to be able to give you as much knowledge and tools and techniques and tricks and tips to help you do a great audiobook narration. So some of the things that we talked about today, of course, first of all, love your voice. I'm going to just say that as a very important thing, because you really do need to love your voice and appreciate the wonderful sound that comes out of your body, because that is all part of your author brand. As it comes to recording your audiobook, remember, things are done in sections, which makes the process a lot easier, so you don't feel overwhelmed of having to record your book in one sitting. So it is done in sections, but you have to keep consistency, with mic levels, with energy, with emotion, with all those things, right? To make sure your voice sounds great from beginning credits to opening credits to closing credits. It's got to sound great. So consistency is key. Remember to always be tapped into your core purpose, why you wrote your book in the first place, because you're bringing that out in your narration. And have somebody specific that you're talking to, because that does help bring out more conversational narration. And most importantly, authenticity. Be your true authentic self. Hands down, that's the biggest piece of advice I can give. Be your true authentic self. And again, the other practical aspects, hydration, mic placement, consistent levels, and those intangibles. Those are the intangibles are like the secret sauce of what makes a great audiobook. Bringing the energy and emotion and keeping that consistent throughout. That's what keeps your listener on the edge of their seat when they listen to your audiobook. And remember, when you do a great job narrating, you are developing an intimate connection with that listener, and they're going to feel like that you're talking directly to them. Excuse me. So love your voice, be consistent, practice. Don't forget to practice whatever section of your book you're going to work on. Practice that section first before you hit record, and be focused and be in the moment. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about things that you need to do. Don't worry about, oh my God, I forgot to take out the trash. Doesn't matter. When you're ready to record, get into your zone. Don't let anything distract you. And speaking of distractions, be aware of your surroundings. It's another big tip. Be aware of your surroundings. If you're recording in your home office and if there's other people in your home, tell them, next couple of hours, please be quiet. I'm recording. Don't disturb me. Okay? Let people know. And be aware of your surroundings in regards to other ambient noises. If there's something going on outside of the room that you're recording, whether it's a gardener working on, firing up the leaf blower, or a plane flies by, or a big truck drives by and it rumbles, that's going to get picked up in your microphone. So if that happens, just stop, pause, wait for that sound to go away, and then continue on. And the other thing, which is a really big tip that I can give you, is be aware of how you sound. If you are making a lot of mistakes, if you're getting tired, if you're fatigued, if your voice isn't sounding right, just step away, take a break. When you feel rejuvenated, then go back to it. And that's the beauty about having your own recording space, okay? That's the beauty of it, because you have the option to be able to step away when you need to, and then you can go back to it on your timeline. Very important. Now, for the audiobook coaching program that I teach, it's called Your Book, Your Voice. And I help you with setup and preparation. I provide you with the equipment you need, professional microphone, professional headphones, everything you need to set up your own recording space, and walk with you step by step through the process. Help you set up your account for publishing on Audible, Amazon, and Apple. We go through all the process to get you set up. The next phase, of course, is doing a deep dive in what it takes to do a great narration. And that's where I really specialize in my coaching, helping authors bringing out their best, being, again, authentic, being your true authentic self. And as you record, you will be sending your audio files to me. And that's where I put on the editor's hat and do all the editing for you. Clean it up, remove mouth noises, make sure it sounds great. But most importantly, that your audiobook meets the exact specifications for publication, because you do not want to go through all these hours of work and then be rejected because your audiobook didn't meet the proper specs. That is not a good thing, and I guarantee that you will be published. And to make things even easier for you, because all I want you to do is just focus on doing a great narration, I'll upload all your audio files for you for publication. So if there is ever an issue, I know about it. I know it needs to be adjusted. It's fixed. It's done. It's all done behind the scenes that you don't have to worry about. And again, you own everything 100%. This is your audiobook, okay? You get all the mastered audio files. They are yours to keep. Everything is yours. There's no, I'll take a percentage of sales. That doesn't work. I don't do that. Not in my program. So the simple step that you need to do, if you're interested in narrating your own audiobook, whether you have a book that's been published years ago bring it back to life. Turn it into an audiobook that you narrate. Or maybe you just released your book. Get in touch with me. All you need to do is book a call. Schedule a call with me, and we'll talk about your book. We'll talk about marketing strategies, and we'll get you enrolled. And by the end of the 6-week program, your audiobook is recorded and ready for publication. It's that easy. But book your call. Simple. bit.ly/audiobook onboarding is the link. bit.ly, bit.ly/audiobook onboarding is the link. Book your call. All right. It's that simple. All right, my friends. Again, you can go to robertlanecoaching.com to find out more about what I do. You can book your call there. You can grab your free narration guide on my website, robertlanecoaching.com. All right. And my last assignment for you, of course, is when you're out and about in the world, smile at a stranger, say hello to them, give them a compliment, because that small gesture of kindness can make the world of difference in somebody's life, because you don't know what they're going through. So be a life changer. All right. Awesome. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. We'll be back next week. I'm Robert A. Lane. robertlanecoaching.com is where you can find everything about what I do as an audiobook coach and producer. Have a great week, my friends. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
This has been Your Book, Your Voice with host Robert A. Lane. Tune in each week for another powerful and informative episode of Your Book, Your Voice, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network.